So today we're going to be reading Into the Woods, Yandere Masky X male listener up in here. So if you guys don't remember, we did have a little bit of a, I'm going to call it the Smexy entrance, kind of, really. It was like a teasing moment, kind of. It was like, whoa, what's gonna happen here? But I'll explain while we do the recap. Anyways, we're currently in chapter 5, but we're gonna go back to chapter 4 for the purpose of the recap. So, if you guys don't remember, basically you were you were offered a week off of school when you found a literal severed finger as a gift. I believe in your bedroom with a broken window and a picture knocked down of the person that you were taking a picture with that that their finger belonged to. Anyways, you went ahead and, you took a week off of school because they offered it. Your aunt from Germany got you a big dog, a mastiff, I believe. It looks like this. Interesting, pretty dog, right? And Felix stayed with you, and you guys slept like BFFs. And you guys went to go out to get ice cream. And as you went out to get ice cream randomly, there's like a whole little thing here of how successful we are, but at the same time that we actually he just wait, where was we? Because he might or might not have accidentally killed someone or purposefully did, and he doesn't act like his true self because let's see. I'm trying to remember. It says something about that, but basically he's indifferent to horrid scenes, aroused, intrigued, etc. Basically, I think there's like a thing for that, like where people are into dead bodies, but it's weird. I'm sorry. And he's basically faking his half of a personality so he can seem normal. And Masky over here probably like, Masky's literally like, oh, what I'd give to break those walls of yours, YN. And seems to know that he knows his true self, apparently. Okay, whatever. Anyways, then we're suddenly back into the scene where they're getting ice cream, and that we felt someone watching us, or saw someone watching us, and we kind of went home, thought about it while we showered. Felix ended up banging on our door, and he was like, I need to go in the bathroom. So we opened it, and then it just starts with this whole smexy areas, like suggestive type of thing here. And then we were like, are you gay? And he's like, I don't know, man. And then just literally, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but we were like, can I kiss you, bro? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And I was like, what on earth? The less I want to know. I'm confused. Like, okay, but like, and y'all will understand the why. You know what? Let's just read. But before I start reading, remember, guys, that the music that are I'm pretty sure it's in each chapter. They will be in the description, and they will be on the side of the video, so you guys know what song you should play for each chapter. Yeah. Anyways, we are officially getting into these warnings. So there will be a lot of warnings for this chapter. So first, there will be mentions of stalking, OVs, suggestiveness, maxi suggestiveness / SMUT. I'm not going to be reading the smut, but I'm just going to warn y'all so y'all can be aware that there is going to be smut in the story in general. Mentions of someone torturing somebody. Some yelling. Somebody getting kidnapped. Mentions of RAPing somebody and treating somebody less than a human. Just basically to me like garbage. You know, so. And if I have anything to warn you guys about, I didn't remember, they'll be on the screen right now. Y'all have been warned. In chapter 5, the scraping of pencils and numbers could be heard throughout the room. The muffled voice of the teacher outside the room was enough to keep everyone seated. You and Felix sat next to each other playing a game of Scribble, which was a game you came up with in 5th grade. One of you drew a picture, and then you both took turns adding to the picture until you either couldn't think of something to add or you filled up the page. No erasing allowed. This was a game you'd normally enjoy. However, you weren't entirely present for this game, as occasionally yours and Felix's hands would brush up against each other as you passed the paper, causing you to have flashbacks of last night. And then, Felix, can I kiss you? Yeah? Please don't be. I'm like praying right now, but I'll read it until I feel uncomfortable enough to read it. The feeling of Felix's lips smashing against yours, breaking your sentence off halfway. Damn, how in the hell am I supposed to add to this? Felix quietly states, entangling his fingers in his messy blonde floof. With a sigh, he flips the page over and scribbles down a crude drawing of a dog, passing it to you as you two started a new drawing. The feeling of Felix's lips smashing against yours, the sound of your heart beating roughly against your ribcage as you kissed back. How what started as a simple kiss soon started getting heated, turning into a makeout session. Okay. Thank you, Emma, for making yourself present. Girl. And don't worry, guys, she's not hearing half of this, so it's fine. Anyways, the bell rings, stopping you halfway through lazily drawing a jetpack on a cyborg dog on 4 heads. Doesn't look half bad. You and Felix pack up, leaving the classroom and taking to the hallways of your large school, bumping your sides against each other as you both joke. The joking soon turning into a playful wrestling match, which soon turned into you bumping into someone. Catching yourself, you turn your head to look back at who you bumped into, stuttering out a vague apology before noticing it's the boy you saved from the bully. Ah, hey, it's you. The boy flinches, causing you to back up a step. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell. You're the kid who was getting beat up a while back, huh? Hello, Casper. Yeah, I'm... The boy twitches his head, jerking to the side almost violently, causing his neck to pop. However, he didn't seem fazed by it at all. Felix taps your shoulders, causing you to look in his direction, only to see that he got a message from his mother saying that she's outside the school waiting for him, as they were planning on spending the day together. You nod and he left, allowing you to turn back to the boy. Sorry, I'm YN. Toby, it's a pleasure to meet you. You both shake hands. Likewise, you joke. So, you've heard about the disappearances and murders, right? Yeah, who hasn't? Well, anyways, you got someone to walk you home. You got someone to walk home with, right? Because if not, I can go with you. No, but you don't... Fuck, sorry. Shit, fuck. You give him a minute to calm his tics, understanding that the cussing was a result of vocal Tourette's. Once he's calm, he continues, Sorry, but you don't need to walk me home. I'm sure it'll only inconvenience you. No, it's fine. I'd usually like to know more about you, to be honest. You seem You seem like the kind of person I'd get along with. Alright, if you say so. Okay, just lead the way and I'll follow. The two of you leave school, heading down a somewhat secluded road that, if not being similar to yours, would strike you as suspicious. Aside from the sound of popping bones and a few vocal tics from Toby, the walk was quiet. That is, until you two came to a stop by a familiar dirt path leading into the forest. Toby turns to you, and before you can speak, he begins talking, in a tone that seems almost threatening. I don't know who you are or how you did it, but somehow you caught the eye of someone very dangerous. And last night, whatever happened last night infuriated him. Last night, he's livid, and he's coming for you and everyone you care for. Nothing can stop him. I don't know what he wants from you. It could be money, it could be information, or it could be you yourself. But whatever it is, he won't stop until he gets his way. So just watch out. And try not to repeat whatever you did last night. Interesting. And with that, Toby turned and walked away into the woods, leaving a stunned and terrified you behind to watch his form disappeared beyond the trees. Once his figure was out of sight, you turned heel and darted back home, never slowing your pace until you were in your house and your door was locked. The sounds of your ragged breath and racing heart filled your ears as your hands stayed pressed to the door. You leaned your head against the door, a few straight tears leaving your eyes before you flipped around, pressing your back against the cold hardwood of your front door. With a shaky sigh, you relaxed and leaned your head forward, pressing your hands against your eyes in an attempt to shut out your thoughts and surroundings. Dragging your hands down your face, you lean your head back against the door before standing up straight and heading to the kitchen. You make yourself a cup of tea and head up to your room, sitting down on your bed and turning on the TV. And I just lost my sentences. Got it. Turning your TV on and taking off your pants, leaving you in a t-shirt and boxers. Your thoughts soon wander off to what Toby had said. Someone is after you, and apparently they've been stalking you, as they know what you and Felix have done last night. What you and Felix had done. Oh God, it's all coming back. You gotten out of the shower and found Felix outside your bedroom looking upset. You tried cheering him up, and he ended up admitting to feeling something for you at that moment. You felt something for him too, and soon enough, things have progressed. Oh goodness. And then this is a quick warning, smut ahead. If you don't like, skip until you reach the end of the italics. Alright, so I had to skip all that because I was, I'm not reading that until like a year, y'all, so for the sake. And, but I will say it is, it's not too badly written, that's all I'll say. But, yeah. Now y'all know that there's smut in, Chapter 5. There is smut on Chapter 5. Alright. You two had taken a shower together to clean up, but ended up fucking again while in the shower, which left your ass slightly sore in the morning. But it was nothing worse than the sore you get after working out all day, so you were able to push it through. It was clear that Felix had obviously fucked before, which was no surprise to you. You'd also been with your fair share of women. But none of them brought the pleasure that Felix had last night. Had that last night. What? It was the first time with another man for both of you. But God, if you knew it'd feel that good, you were soon brought of your thoughts by Felix knocking on your door. Why aren't you in there? I got Chinese takeout. Come out and eat. Be there in a sec. You yelled back, going to take another sip of your tea, only to get a mouthful of air and realizing it was gone. You set your cup down and got up, not only realizing the pressure in your boxers. You'd gotten a boner and needed to take care of it before going out to eat. Sitting back down... Lord forgive me. Okay, sorry. Sitting back down and removing your boxers, you take a hold of your DICK and started jacking off. Alright. Interesting. Oh, yeah. I only promised to read smut when I turned the age of 18, y'all. I mean, out of respect for everyone who asked that 18 plus people, but, you know. Whatever. A question from the author. Do you like Chinese food? If so, what's your favorite? Mine is the sesame seed bean bun. You'd never guess it's actually beans and not chocolate. 1,993 words. Stay safe and creepy. Kai out. For me personally, it has to be. It's like some type of like chicken with sweet sauce type. I can't remember what it's called, but I haven't went to Chinese takeout in a long time. But I know it's so good. I always get it. Can't specify the name, but let me know in the comments down below what's your favorite Chinese food, or if you like Chinese food. Anyways, chapter 6. Excuse me. Running away. It's a silly concept to some, but we've all wanted to run away at least once in our lives, whether it be from family, work, or something that scared us. We found comfort in the thought of leaving. Some have run away, others chose to stay and fight through it. But no matter your response, the thought still lingers. What if I ran, never came back? I could do it, but could I handle it? It's simple as walking out the door and never coming back. But where would one go upon running away? If you're truly going to leave, how far will you go? Will a few miles be enough, or should you leave state? Staring at the stars, you will ask yourself these questions. Where will I go? Your red car was packed with a full bag of clothes. A few pictures of you and your friends who had become more like family over the years sitting in the passenger seat with your wallet sitting on top. You hadn't brought your phone, not wanting Felix to try to contact you for his own safety. You'd written a note for Felix that night after eating the Chinese food he'd brought home, telling him that you couldn't stay there anymore, and asking him to take care of Armin before packing your bags and driving off. That was 3 days ago, and now you were about 2 states away and half a mile from the nearest town. Stopped on a dirt road next to a small gas station eating chips. The bright white lights illuminating the area behind you. It was peaceful. The trees and soft chirps of the crickets are the only sounds other than the occasional passing vehicle. It really felt like it was just you and the world. Where would you go after this? What would you do? You really didn't have the answers, but you didn't mind. Maybe not having answers was better than having them. Quietly, you get back into your vehicle, starting it up and driving back off down the road. You drove and drove, turning up the music and pretending you were the main character in a book or movie as you went, finding peace and solace in the situation. The farther you drove, the more you began to feel like you were free. Sure, the sadness of leaving everything you ever knew behind still lingered, but now you didn't feel tied down. There was no more push of responsibility, no more worrying about losing someone else, no more feeling of impending doom because of overdue projects. Nothing. You pulled into a motel parking lot, parking your car and getting out to head in and get a room. The receptionist seemed tired and bored of work. She even gave you a rude attitude when you walked in. So you quickly got your key, headed up, not wanting to anger her further. Once you got into your room, you checked the bed for bugs or leftover objects from the previous visitors. After making sure the bed was clear, you laid down and drifted off to sleep. You slept better than you have in months that night. And as the sun began rising to peek in through your curtains to awaken you, you stretched and let out a yawn, getting up and grabbing a small bag you've brought in with you last night. Heading into the small, dirty bathroom, you open your bag and pull out your toothbrush, getting toothpaste on it before standing in front of the toilet and pissing as you brush your teeth. Once done pissing, you spit the toothpaste in the sink, gathering some water in your hands to rinse the toothpaste out and then splashing some on your face. Looking into the mirror, you see your wet face staring back as a bright smile stretches across your lips. A small chuckle escapes your throat before you grab your bag and leave the room, heading to your car to get back on the road. You drove for what seemed like only a few hours, but in actuality was an entire day. You'd already left that state and now were in another. Driving through a rural dirt road, trees on both sides and nothing but the ever-expanding forest beyond. Your car had made a few clunky noises, and with a jolt, it came to a halt. You try starting it back up, only for it to sputter and shut back off. Getting out and opening the hood, a plume of smoke blows out and hits you in the face, causing you to cough and choke, waving it away with your hand as you slam the hood closed again. You decide it's best just to walk along the road, hoping there was a town up ahead. You grab your wallet, a backpack with your clothes, and as well as a store bag with food in it, and are about to close the door, but stop. A certain picture had caught your eye. You pick it up and look at it. It was a very distinct picture, one you treasured dearly. The plain wood frames feel old and rough against your fingertips as the glass catches the reflection of its surroundings, revealing your smiling face. The picture had been taken by Felix's mom sometime between your second grade year, revealing you and Felix, arms wrapped around each other's shoulders, and splotches of dirt, mud, and grass stains littered your bodies. You've been wearing a red t-shirt and plain jeans, your bare feet sticking out amongst the bright green grass. Felix wore a previously white t-shirt, now covered in earth and slightly brown, covered by part-way overalls, his feet also bare. The picture seemed to have captured his bright blue eyes that were so full of joy they were practically sparkling. Something your tired eyes, still happy eyes, hadn't had. The mop of bleached blonde hair on his head was messy and had sticks and grass poking out of it. Some parts clumped together with mud. Your own hair wasn't any better. Despite it being hard, it wasn't impossible to filter out the many bruises and cuts among the dirt that covered your body. Anyone would have choked it up to being playing too hard, but you knew better. However, even despite the rough times you've been going through, you've still held a bright, strong smile on your face as you stood next to your bestest friend in the entire world. You remembered Felix calling you that day. "Why, Anne, you are my bestest friend in the entire world," he'd say. "And you're mine, Felix," you'd reply, although it being drastically less enthusiastic. A few tears rolled down your face. How you wished things could still be the same way. A silent sob racks your body, and before you know it, you're holding the picture against your forehead as you hunched over and cried. A bright smile on your face. You didn't know why you were smiling. Maybe because it was being able to finally cry after all these years and all these emotions building up felt good. And even if you were crying over a friend that you may never see again, with a few last sniffles and sobs, you straighten yourself out, cleaning your face and putting the picture in your backpack, finally heading off down the road on foot, a new hope burning inside you. Once this was all over, you were going to see Felix again, no matter what. That's cute. Let's see. Become the Warm Jets. This is from the author. Become the Warm Jets by Current Joys and I Want to Feel Alive by The Lighthouse, and the Whaler inspired most of this chapter, as well as my deep need to run away. How do you feel about running away? Would you do it if you got the chance? 1,317 words. Stay safe and creepy. Kai out. Would I run away? Honestly, no. Because if I ran away, I would never have been able to meet my baby Patrick. Oh, I love him so much. I don't know how much he loves me. But you must love me a lot. And you smell so good. Sorry, y'all. My cat was near. Yeah. And I wouldn't have done as much stuff as I probably would have been, well, I'm doing them now, but if I did run away, I wouldn't have been able to do as much stuff as I can now. So, yeah. Anyways, let's see here. Chapter 7. You'd been walking for quite a while down the desolate road, and you noticed how it curved around, seemingly heading towards the trees to your right, around the trees to your right. You thought about cutting through the trees to get to the other side, but then if the road curved left next, and you went through the woods, you would miss the road entirely and end up lost. You didn't know how far these woods stretched. but they could go on forever for all you knew. So you continued through the woods. However, something caught your attention. A shout, far off in the woods, seemingly yelled a name, and to you, it sounded like Kai. However, you could be wrong. You looked into the deep foliage, contemplating once again whether you should traverse through them or not. You took a step towards them, then stopped, not caring to move. Oh shit, that scared me. I was like, oh, sorry. You took a step towards them, then stopped, not caring to move your other foot forwards. Again, another shout rang out from the forest, and with it, you took a few more steps, stopping right before the tree line. With a deep breath, you traveled forwards into the deep foliage. Curiosity got the better of you, and perhaps you could find who was yelling. Of course, you wouldn't get too close, just close enough to see what was going on. You walked, slow at first, but soon picking up speed as you traversed into the great unknown of the forest ahead of you. You could hear more shouting, more now louder, and more than one voice. Someone was yelling about someone else getting away, and the name you thought was Kai turned out to be Kate. The closer you got, the more you could hear as well. You picked up a few names, such as Masky, Hoodie, and Toby. At one point, you could also hear screams, as well as what sounded like something metal hitting something solid. Despite the fear creeping into your mind, you continued forward. See, this is what dumb people do. Curiosity having seemed to have taken full control. You continued forward, careful not to step on twigs or dried leaves as you went, and soon you found yourself ducked behind bushes, listening as two masked people argued. You got a good look at the people, 5 in total, one being fairly tall, around roughly 6 foot, and wearing an orange hoodie, black hiking boots, and a black cloth mask with a frowning face on it. You figured this to be Hoodie. There was another, smaller male next to him. He wore a light brown jacket with a blue hood and sleeves stripped with darker variants of brown, and on his feet were a pair of plain black and white Converse. He wore a mouth guard that had what appeared to be a cartoonish teeth, or perhaps mock bars across the front, and covering his eyes were orange goggles. You could faintly make out a brown hair peeking out from beneath his hood. His violent twitching and occasional muffled curses threw you off at first, but you choked it up to Tourette's, which reminded you of the boy you'd met at your school, who coincidentally happened to be named Toby. In front of the after aforementioned men was a bound and gagged woman, long blonde hair and fair skin, and tears streaking her face. You could hear her muffled cries and pleas. The other two were arguing, stood much closer to your hiding spot, but not close enough that they could see over the bush, hopefully. One of them wore a white mask with black eyes and a black mouth somewhat resembling holes covering her face. She wore a white hoodie covered in brownish red splotches, black jeans, and black combat boots. Long black locks of hair stuck out from the edges of her hood, framing her masked face and stopping just above her breast. Decently sized breast, you may add. However, you'd seen better. Why do we need to know this? This was probably Kate. Your eyes were drawn away from her breast as you noticed the knife held tightly in her hand. You were starting to think that the splotches on her hoodie weren't from her being a messy eater, and were perhaps blood, which was only confirmed as you looked at the last person. The last man, roughly 5'7" or so, had dark, chocolatey locks of hair, tan skin, a tan jacket, blue torn jeans with a white hooded, bloodied bandage around his right leg, and tan work boots that you couldn't remember the name of. A white mask with black feminine features lays upon his face. He held a large metal pipe in his gloved right hand, and he was covered head to toe in blood splatters. Despite the mask on his face, something about this man seemed familiar. You'd even wondered if you'd ran into him somewhere. God, I hope not. You think to yourself, God, Kate, like I give a fuck. I caught the bastard, didn't I? Miss Proxy of the Week. Yeah, because I made you. You didn't make me do shit, princess. Oh, get a grip, Masky. You'd hardly been capable of being considered a proxy anymore. What was that? You heard me. Since you became infatuated with that pesky kid, you've changed. Pesky kid, I'll have you know that I was going to what? Train him? He was getting in the way of your job as a proxy. You were infatuated with him, and suddenly he does something that pisses you off, and you... Will you shut the fuck up? You have no clue what's going on. Oh, I don't? I don't have a fucking clue. After seeing you constantly stalking that filth, I don't know what is going on. Oh, you fucking don't. Open your damn eyes, Tim. That kid didn't belong to you, and I'm fucking glad he ran away. Your eyes widened at the name Tim. Tim. You hadn't been able to get him off your mind since you'd met him at the bar. Something had seemed off about him, but you couldn't figure out what. Could this really be the same Tim? You'd zoned out, being too focused on the identity of the masked male, and ended up falling forwards into the bush, making a noise. Wow. This is on... I'm gonna dial it. Wow. But somehow, the Tim who was currently arguing with Kate heard. You ducked down as he whipped his head into your direction. Cover your mouth in an attempt to quiet your heavy, panicked breathing. Kate. What? Kate, shut the fuck up. No, you can't tell me to shut the fuck up. Kate, there is someone else here. The woman stopped screaming and now was silent. You could hear as the sound of his feet quietly hitting the floor grew closer. Just as you thought you were going to be found, you hear a grunt of pain and a smacking sound, causing the masked man to come to a halt and presumably turn back to his companions. Fuck, she bit me! A voice that didn't sound familiar said. You figured that it may have been the hooded male. You could hear Kate sigh before speaking up. Let's just get back to the mansion. No need to waste our time on some creature scuttling through a bush. You wanted to sigh in relief but couldn't, or you'd be found. You could hear the masked man turn and start walking away. Mustering up as much confidence as you could, you peeked around the bush, seeing that the 4 masked people were facing away from you. You took this opportunity to try and sneak away. But unfortunately, the captured blonde noticed you and began screaming out muffled pleas of help as she thrashed in her restraints. Your eyes grew wide and you looked back. All heads were turned in your direction, and in a panic, you darted. Kate, you and the others head back. I'll take care of them. You could hear the masked male yell. You could feel the adrenaline pumping through your veins as you ran as fast as possible back in the direction you came from. If you could just make it to the road, you could run back towards your vehicle and lock yourself in. But would you even make it that far? Surely you would. You could make it out of the woods, but your car was pretty far away. And even if you did make it to your car, what would you do then? Your car was broke down, so you couldn't just drive away. He'd just break through your windshield with that metal pipe and kill you there. You just kept running. You kept running, but soon enough, you started to realize that you should have reached the road by now. In fact, it was as though you didn't recognize any of your surroundings. Had you run in the wrong direction in your haste? You couldn't have. You were sure you ran the right way. It was like the woods were changing. You were starting to get exhausted. Your legs were sore and your lungs burned, but you couldn't give up now. You kept pushing forwards, trying not to slow down. He was already catching up, and things weren't looking good for you. It was evident when you stupidly looked back. That's when, seemingly out of nowhere, a rock caught hold of your shoelace and you tripped. The ground came closer, and all you could think was, "Oh, there's the road." Before the world around you went black. You were surely dead now. You regretted not saying a proper goodbye to Felix and Armand. You missed them, and now you were dead. You wished you told Felix how much you really missed him. Now it was too late. You'd never get to see him again, because you were dead. Oh, hold up. No, you were in a black room on a damp mattress. Damp mattress. The mattress was damp. Moist. You dart up, shrieking in disgust at the haziness from just waking up faded away. You nearly puked. Now you're almost positive you were in some kind of torture room. I mean, who would just put someone on a damp mattress unless they wanted to torture that person? You soon regretted screaming as you heard a noise from outside the room. The door opened. allowing you to see the moldy mattress with a puddle around it, as well as the cement walls and staircase leading down from the open doorway with a white masked man standing in the frame. You must not have been fully aware of your situation because you found that the next words out of your mouth were not exactly the smartest or choice of words. Why the hell was I sleeping on a moist, moldy mattress that smells of minced meat? Your 5th grade teacher might have congratulated you on that alliteration, but you regretted it heavily. Ew, moist. Ugh. No question from the author, but they did say ew, moist. Ugh. Nasty. Ugh. I'm sorry. Just the description. I do not appreciate that. Ugh. Anyways. Chapter 8. Where the hell was I sleeping on a moist, moldy mattress that smelled of minced meat? I thought you were going to say cheese. An unsavory taste coats the back of your throat as you watch the man walk down the stairs. Why had you said that? Can't you ever keep your mouth shut? You rack your brain for something. Anything to say to prevent you from dying. The man reaches to the bottom of the stairs and flicks the light on. The lights above flooding the room with light. He keeps walking towards you, getting closer to you, and you backing up with each step as he took until your back was against the wall and he was right in front of you. He gently touches your cheek, his cold fingers making you flinch away. He stays still for a moment before slowly placing his hand on your cheek, caressing it. You can hear his breath behind his mask, but he doesn't say a word. His eyes, barely visible within his mask, scanning over your scared features. "How's your head?" he whispers. Only now did you realize the dull throbbing inside your skull. You were too absorbed in your surroundings and confusion to realize the headache before. You look down, the man's hands falling from your face as you gently touch your head, feeling damp bandages around your head. Well, slightly damp bandages around your head. Pulling your hand away, you see a small bit of red on your fingertips, meaning that the dampness was from your own blood. The man lets out a small hum as though he's contemplating his next words before speaking. "Let's get those bandages changed and get you some ibuprofen, okay?" He gently grabs your arm and you look at him. He turns to the door, gently pulling you behind him and up the stairs. Once out of the basement, you see you're in the living room. Stairs leading to another floor behind you. A kitchen straight forwards. And a round wooden dining table with 4 wooden chairs just slightly to your left. The man leads you to one of the chairs, gently pushing you down into it. He then leaves down the hall and up the stairs, disappearing and leaving you to take in your surroundings. There was a couch against the wall on the opposite side of the staircase, and in front of it was a TV. Next to the TV was a bar that connected to the kitchen. The farthest wall from you had a window with off-white curtains. Beams of golden light shine through the window, casting a bright glow on everything in the room. Next to the window was a door. You'd wondered for just a moment if you could leave and run while the man was upstairs, and without thinking, you stood up and walked to the door. But before you could open it, you hear a voice behind you. You weren't planning on running away, were you? You turn to see the man standing at the bottom of the stairs. No, I was just good. I don't want to have to keep you locked in that basement. Now come sit back down. I have to clean the bandages. You slowly walk back to your seat, sitting down as the man approaches and starts taking the dirty bandages off your head. You winced, making a hissing noise from the pain as he lightly touched the wound on your head. He didn't care, though, and continued to put the bandages on. And once he was done, he handed you an ibuprofen and bottled water. You took the medicine and then drank, settling now the empty bottle down and looking at the man who was just staring at you. Or at least, you think he was staring at you. You couldn't quite tell behind his mask. So, where am I? You questioned. My home. Well, my second home anyway. He answers. When can I leave? The man stiffens. You can't. I won't let you. I've already lost you once. I'm not letting you go. You stand up, almost knocking your chair down as you do. What? I can't stay here. You can't make me. You yell, scared and infuriated. A loud smack rings through the house as you take a step back. Your head turned to the right. You lift your hand to your stinging cheek, lightly touching it with the tips of your fingers. He smacked you. You will not tell me what you are and aren't going to do. Right now, you're lucky you're even alive. You should be thanking me for keeping you alive and giving you a place to stay. And as far as I see it, you are no different from a dog. You belong to me and you will obey me, because if you don't, you will be punished like a dog. A dog? You want me to behave like a dog? Well, screw you, because I refuse to listen to a psychopath who is holding me captive. You want me to behave like a dog, then you better be ready to be bitten. Oh shit, you tell him? Bad bitch energy. You punch him in the face, then kick him in the stomach, causing him to fall to the floor. He stands back up though and grabs you by the hair, pulling your face to his mask, meaning you had to stand on your tippy toes. I thought you were smarter than that. Guess I was wrong. You're going back to the basement. He throws you to the ground and then kicks you in the stomach. You curl into a ball, holding your stomach and groaning in pain. But the man only grabs you by the back of your shirt and drags you to the basement entrance, throwing you down. My name is Tim, but until you learn to respect and listen to me, you will call me Masky, or Master. He yells down to you, before slamming the door shut, leaving you in a dimly lit room. You groan, getting up on your hands and knees, still holding your stomach. You glare at the floor and spit out blood on the bottom step. You slowly move, sitting back on your legs and looking around the room. It was, as said before, made of cement, a moldy, damp mattress in one corner, and on the far side of the room, to your right, was an open door. From what you could see, a bathroom inside. At least you had that going for you. With a grunt, you stand up, looking at the room more thoroughly. You see a cabinet built into an indent in the wall next to the stairs, and go to investigate. Your bag that you had brought was long gone, sat on top of the cabinet and crouching down, you open a few of the cabinet's doors, seeing blankets and pillows. You weren't going to sleep on that mattress, so you figured that you could make a bed in the cabinet and sleep there. It was big enough for you to fit you anyways. You pull the blankets out of the cabinet, finding it to be cleaner than the rest of the room. You begin laying the blankets down, making a soft bed before putting the pillows in. Taking the last blanket, you take your shoes and dirty clothes off, folding them and setting them in the drawers above the cabinet. Noticing the bruise already forming on your stomach, as well as a few on your arms and legs, you open your bag to pull out a pair of flannel PJ pants and slipping them on. Shoving your bag to the bottom of your makeshift bed in the cabinet, you climbing in, covering yourself up before closing the door. You figure that you might as well sleep now, considering the sun had been setting earlier, and you weren't going to find a way out of this basement tonight. Drifting off, you can't help but curse Masky the whole time, hoping that you punched and kicked him hard enough to leave bruises that are paining him as much as yours are. Anyways, author. I hate the word moist. It leaves a bad feeling in the back of my mouth. What's your favorite word? What's your least favorite word? 1,345 words. Stay safe and creepy. Kai out. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to Masky, but a negative one. Fuck you, Masky. I hope you drown. I hope you have to drown on your own piss water. I really do hope you do, because this is not how you make partners. This is not how you date. You really suck at it. Honestly. Alright, y'all, so we's in chapter 9. You'd hardly slept, having spent most of your time crying. You didn't know where you'd go from here. It seemed that in a situation where nothing could be worse, it always ended that way. Masky found you in the cabinet earlier. He said that you could have a second chance, but you'd have to obey him. You didn't, and your consequence was unpleasant and left you feeling disgusted. You were slowly losing it, and it had only been 3 days. And once again, you were sitting at the dining table, late in the evening, eating, or rather staring at a bowl of soup. You'd taken one bite and immediately lost your appetite. Not because the soup was gross or anything, it was delicious, but the man sitting across the table from you made you wish you were anywhere else but there. You stood to leave, hoping to just hide away in your cabinet in the basement. Funny how you just a few minutes you'd have wanted out of the basement, but now you wanted back in. Where do you think you're going? You still haven't eaten. I'm not hungry. Are you not feeling good? What's wrong? He stands and tries walking over to you. No, I'm just not hungry. Why? Quit acting like you give a shit, you yell, throwing a disgusted look at the man. You kidnapped me, locked me in the basement, beat me, raped me, and then act like you care? What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm not a goddamn toy for you to treat me how you want. There was silence, and for a second, you thought he was gonna punish you again. What? Oh, hell no. Kill him, girl. I do care. I'm doing this because I care. Bullshit. He turns away from you, grabbing his nearly empty bowl and walking to the kitchen. His posture said he was sad, disappointed, and you could almost feel remorse. Almost. You knew it was a trick, but for some reason, you wanted to believe that he actually did care. You turn and head into the basement, taking the care to slam the door behind you. You were just trying to grasp something, find something to hold on to bring clarity through this pit you were falling down. That's all it was. You keep telling yourself that you didn't feel bad for yelling at him. You wouldn't feel bad for it. Your mind was just trying to find something to ease at, hoping that you were just being dramatic. But what if you really did hurt him? What if he did care and was just so unhinged that his ways of showing that he cared were just strange? Think like that and you end up dead. You stood at the bottom of the stairs for what seemed to be too long before the door opened, causing you to turn and look at the figure above. I'm going out. You can wander the house, but don't leave, because if you do, you'll be killed. You scoffed and turned away, the door slowly closing, almost hesitantly behind you. You knew he'd say something like that, and you weren't worried about dying anymore. It'd be a miracle to die at this point. You just didn't want to suffer the torture you'd surely received from him before he killed you. But what was worse, continuing to live like this for God knows how long, or running away and being tortured for a short bit than dying. You were looking to the counter where your bed was and saw pictures of Felix and you as children. Walking over and picking it up, you brushed the dust off the glass. You'd been through worse than this and lived. So why are you contemplating death? Maybe it was because there's a way out now than there was when there wasn't then. You never really had any way of knowing if you would die back then. All you had was the hope of getting better, and it did, for a time anyways. Now that you have a definitive way to die, it seemed as though you had an actual escape, as though there were two doors ahead of you. One way you can run and get yourself killed, ending this torture, but you couldn't see Felix again. However, the other way was offered to stay with Masky, endure this torture, and maybe be able to leave one day. You could see Felix again and get away from all this. Yeah, that was going to happen. You couldn't let yourself die here. You're stronger than that. You set the picture down and head up the stairs. Once out, you head to the fridge, finding your soup in there and taking it out, sitting down to eat. Once it was gone, you went to the couch, turning on the TV and finding an interesting show. You sat there for hours watching the show before drifting off to sleep. You didn't dream. There wasn't much you could dream about, but you had a peaceful sleep, and that's all that mattered at the moment. As you should, King. As you should. I'm gonna go through these real quick since, so one of the things is a quick message. This is probably while they were writing it. Awesome. Let's see. I guess I shall read it to you guys. Hey y'all, I have a quick message to say. I'm absolutely honored and thrilled that the story is getting so much attention. It's currently ranked 902 in the masky out of 8.4k stories. That's insane. It's also ranked in 800 and hoodie out of 7.1k stories. And this is possible because of all y'all read and commented and liked the chapters in the story. It hasn't been that long. Well, you're welcome. And whoever, you're welcome. It's a nice story so far. Let's see here. And then this is an Easter special. Let's see. It's not Easter anymore, but it's fine. Alright. Easter special. Q&A Easter special brought to you with a special thanks to my friends who came up with the questions. This will be written as though the characters are a cast in a movie answering questions. Okay. Question for one character. Question. What is Felix's favorite thing to do for Easter? Or what does he do on Easter? Felix, this section has been clipped as we are trying to keep this PG-13. Felix, I hang out with Grams and eat bunny-shaped sugar cookies, and recently I've been hanging out with a few other people from the cast. We're too old for a lot of things kids do, but we still do like to eat chocolate and watch movies. Question. Does Felix ever celebrate holidays with friends or anyone he is in a relationship with? Felix. Yes. I spent part of the day with family, then I go hang out with my friends. I'm currently single, so I don't have a lover to spend the day with. But if I did, we'd cuddle all night and watch movies. Hit me up, ladies and gentlemen. Author Kai. This isn't a dating app. You're answering questions, Felix, not filling out your Tinder bio. Question. How does Felix deal with death? Felix. Getting a little deep there, pal. Short answer, I mourn in my own ways. Okay, what's the long answer? Felix. You're not the one asking questions, Kai. Question. Zon, right? Have you ever gotten jealous of anyone else in the cast? John. Not really. We're all pretty great friends, but I suppose I am a little bit jealous Felix got to stay while I was killed off. Well, my character was killed off anyways, but I'm still pretty much alive. Felix, it's because you suck. John, please someone assassinate Felix. I will literally give you all my money. Question for all/multiple characters. Question, has anyone had any trauma on holidays? Felix, my dog died on Christmas once. Marcus, I was forced to swallow a worm on Easter. Lucius, nope. Jean, yeah, I've been getting dragged out of my home every holiday since I met the others. They are my trauma. Grams, you can't have trauma if you don't remember what happened. Masky, no. Kai, not that I remember, but I could have. Question, has Lucius or Marcus ever Question, has Lucius or Marcus ever taken anyone out on a date on any holidays? Lucius, yeah, I took my girlfriend out once. We went to a drive-in theater. Marcus, does it count if they're my friend? Question, has anyone ever been on the verge of death? It's strange to ask, but who cares? Felix, nope, but I've had near-death experiences. Marcus, nope. Lucius, yes, I fell off a slide when I was 10 and cracked my skull open. I barely got to the hospital alive. John, I try not to put myself in situations where one could occur. Grams, I like to play a little game called How Many Heart Attacks Until I Die? Masky, I'm too cautious to end up in those situations. AK, same as Felix. I've never been on the verge of death, but I've been in situations where I could have been fatally hurt. Author exclusive questions. Question, have you ever tried flirting with yourself in the mirror? A. Well, I can't say I haven't occasionally shot myself a wink and finger guns while walking past it. Everyone does that though, right? Question. Would you consider yourself a dog person or a cat person? A. I like both. I like big dogs more than small ones, and I'm slightly allergic to cats. But I can't pick favorites since they're both equally as great. And well, that's it all for the questions. If you guys like these Q&As, I'll do them more often. I'll do more of them every holiday and even post an announcement where you guys can comment your own questions. Ooh, that is awesome. Dang, author, this is actually, I like that. I like that a lot. Well, anyways, I'm going to cut it there since we've been reading far long enough. So before I ask any questions, I'm pretty sure we are all aware that masky, well, I mean, as if I read it, like, let me know if I read it wrong, or if I misunderstood it, but masky RAPE'd us as punishment. Now, I want to say this. If anyone treats you like that, like nothing, I would never in my entire life treat any animal like that. Okay? I would never treat a person like that. Let this be a lesson learned. Don't ever treat anybody like that. Don't let anybody treat you like that. There's no excuses as to why someone treats you like that. Unless you're the most terriblest person in the entire world, that you ended up in prison, and you're like a pedophile, child predator, you know, whatever. Like, that's when I'm like, okay, yeah, you, not saying I'm wishing it for you, but you got what you deserved. You know what I'm saying? It's not that it's good, but got ass handed to you, literally. But in the cases like that where you like literally don't deserve it, nada, even though you think you do, you probably don't. Don't let people treat you like this. People might be like, oh, well, it's just a story. Well, it happens to people in real life. You'd be insanely surprised. So let this again be a lesson learned. Don't let people do that to you. Simple as that. Simple as that. Yeah. Just want to let y'all know. Let y'all know that. And anyways, what do you guys think is gonna happen to YN in the next few chapters that are gonna come up? Please let me know in the comments down below. It's not looking so good for YN right now. Literally. So I really hope we Masky gets his head together and stop being so dumb. Cause like, listen, some people gotta have at least a little common sense in their brain, you know. But you know, no comment. For now. So if any like chapters get a little bit too triggering or something like that, I'll probably warn it before we start it. Obviously, like I will have to for this chapter. Don't know how bad or good it's gonna get, but let's hope the best for our YN, shall we? Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this though. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. And yeah. Your girl's gotta cut this short. Y'all, I'm so sorry, but bye and peace.